pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. McLean, may I have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Crane.
Here.
Mrs. Love.
Here.
Mrs. McGinnis.
Here.
Mr. Heyer.
Here.
Mr. Need. Here. Mrs. Egan.
Here.
Mrs. Wolf.
Here. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community hearing. There is time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in agenda items 3 and 9. Item 1.4 is election of a temporary chairperson. May I have a motion, please?
I move to elect Kelly Horst temporary chairperson.
Support. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Item 1.5 is appointment of temporary secretary. I appoint Mrs. McGinnis, temporary secretary. Item 1.6 is election of board officer.
Support.
Oh, no, it's just a presidential appointment. We went through this last year. I realized I had been doing it excessively for a couple of years, so I just get to appoint. She's only temporary.
I think the temporary powers.
It's temporary. Everybody, okay, Colin is now happy. This is our annual organizational meeting where we elect our officers every July, and so we will move on to item 1.6, election of officers. 1.6.1, this is the office of president, and the position is now open for nomination.
I nominate Greg Mead as president.
Support.
I move to close nominations.
Support. All in favor of closing nominations for the office of president?
Yes, that's right. Sorry.
It took me 4 years, but I got it. I have notes and everything.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? Nominations for the office of president are closed. As we only have one nomination, we can proceed with a voice vote. All in favor of Greg Mead for the office of president for the 23-24 school year, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, Mr. Need. President Need, we will take a brief recess.
Out of control.
I am out of control, and I'm also out of the office. So we're going to
Thank
take
God.
just a brief recess and switch seats, and then Mr. Need will proceed with the meeting. That was for Colin. There.
Oh, is this the passing of the gavel? This is such an important moment for you. You should be watching it.
Oh, let me get all my stuff. Oh, my goodness. I can just sit right here. Should we switch to the- Oh, yes. She is really ready. She's not leaving
It's
any
official.
chance.
We will return the meeting. Thank you all. I appreciate the confidence that you've shown in me. I will do my best. I am very fortunate to have had 4 of you on the board that have served in this position. And rest assured, I know that you've all dealt with various challenges along the years. I will be tapping into that knowledge, I'm sure, for some time to be. As Kelly mentioned a moment ago, this is our first leadership transition in 4 years. And I do want to take a moment to recognize Kelly for her 4 years of service as board president. For all of you, Elizabeth, Cheryl, Steve, that face difficult issues, Mrs. Horst served with extraordinary challenges during the pandemic. I worked with her as vice president for most of those years, and I saw firsthand her efforts and her hard work. Her communication as a board spokesperson was outstanding with the administration and staff, with us as board members, and with the community. She was president twice as long as the average tenure. I'm not sure what that says, but she did. And she served with intelligence, grace, and good humor, despite bearing the brunt of a whole lot of criticism, almost all of it was unwarranted, at least in my opinion. She did her very best to serve this board, the district, the administration and staff, the community, and above all our kids. I was proud to serve with her. I'm proud to call her a friend. We all owe her big thanks for her service. Moving along is the next item, 1.6.2, the election of vice president. Are there any nominations?
I would first like to echo the thanks of Mrs. Horst taking on that role and leading us through some very interesting times. And I know how hard it was in talking with you. I'd appreciate that very much. And secondly, I will nominate Elizabeth Egan for vice president.
Support.
Are there any other nominations for the office of vice president?
I move to close nominations for the office of vice president.
Support.
Motion to close nominations has been supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing one nominee, I would request a motion to elect Elizabeth Egan as vice president. We're going to just vote. All in favor of Elizabeth Egan as vice president, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next, 1.6.3 is the election of treasurer. Are there any nominations?
I would like to first double echo to Kelly Horst for being a great president and embracing me as a new member to the team. I would also like to nominate Stephanie Crane as treasurer.
Support.
Are there any other nominations for the office of treasurer?
I'll move to close nominations.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to close nominations. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? As we have one nominee, all those in favor of Stephanie Crane as treasurer, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Mrs. Crane. 1.6.4 is the election of secretary. Are there any nominations?
I would like to nominate Mrs. Cheryl McGinnis as for the office of secretary.
Support.
Any other nominations for the office of secretary?
Move to close nominations for the office of secretary. Support.
It's been moved and supported to close nominations for secretary. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. With one nominee, I would request a vote on Cheryl McGinnis as secretary. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations, Mrs. McGinnis. Item 2 is the consent agenda. May I have a motion?
I move the Board of Education approves the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
There is no discussion on the consent agenda, but we do have one item requiring a roll call vote. So, Mrs. McLean, can you please call the roll?
Mr. Hyde.
Yes.
Mrs. Crane.
Yes.
Mrs. Egan.
Yes.
Mrs. Horst.
Yes.
Mrs. Love.
No.
Mrs. McGinnis.
Yes.
And Mr. Reed.
Yes. Motion carried. Item 3 is citizens' request to address the board. You are given 2 opportunities to address the board. Under 3.1, item 3.1, you can request the board to address the board about any topic on tonight's agenda. And under item 9, you are welcome to address the board on any topic. When making comments, please state your name and address. Direct your comments to the board president. Each person may speak for up to 2 minutes. Per established procedures, the board will not respond to questions or interact with the speaker during public comment. Is there anyone, Mrs. Okay. There is nobody under item 3.1. There will still be an opportunity under item 9 to address the board on any topic. We have no superintendent update or presentations tonight, so we'll move to action items. Item 6.1, approval of personnel changes. May I have a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Education approves the personnel changes as listed in
Motion's been made and supported. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 6.2 is the approval of architectural and engineering, construction management, and technology consultant contract proposals for the November 2022 bond. May I have a motion, please?
Move that the Board of Education authorize the administration to execute contracts to GMB Architects and Engineering on construction and communications by design for 2022 bond work.
Is there support?
Support.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Item 6.3, approval of fuel system upgrades for the bus garage. May I have a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Education authorize the administration to execute a contract to the Oscar W. Larson Company in the amount of $43,185 for fuel system upgrades as presented.
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. I know Mr. Goodman is in the audience. If anybody has any questions or wishes to discuss.
I don't have a question, but just as the transportation liaison, I know that this is really needed and actually will incur long-term savings to the district, so I fully support this.
Thank you, Mrs. Olive. Any other comment or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Item 6.4 is approval of board member attendance at conferences or workshops for the 2023-24 school year. May I have a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Education approves board member attendance at any of the attached conferences as in compliance with Board Bylaw 0175.1. Also, just as a point of order, Mr. Need, we have a corrected grid. I made last-minute changes, so I just wanted to note that. It's not the same as in the board packet.
Thank you, Mrs. Egan. That is correct. In front of you at the board table should be the updated list of conferences that we have now all completed. So thank you. Any discussion?
No, we need a second, don't we?
Support.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. We have no reports or discussion items tonight, although we will be recessing for our board retreat. We are now up to item 9. Citizens are welcome to address the board on any topic at this point. Is there anyone that wishes to address the board? With that, information items, item 10.1, the next Board of Education meeting will be Monday, August 7th, 2023 at 5 p.m., a closed session for the purposes of superintendent evaluation. That is the only item on that agenda. Our next regular meeting is Monday, August 14th, 2023 at 7 p.m. Also under information items, I had a request from Mrs. Horst to address the board, so I will turn the floor to her.
Thank you so much, President Need. Thank you so much for the kind comments, you and all of my colleagues as well. I would return that to you and say, as the Vice President during my presidency, your wisdom and counsel was absolutely invaluable, and I know you're going to do a great job as President, and I'm thrilled that you've taken the seat in the center of the room, and I'm over here at the end for a little respite. You know, I spoke at our commencement ceremonies this spring about how people can view moments like this as an ending, a beginning, or a bit of both, and, you know, depending on their perspective. And tonight is such a moment for me in more ways than one. 18 months ago, my husband took a job out of town, and we have commuted back and forth around his work schedule and my school board responsibilities. And now that the board has elected a new president, it's time for me to join my husband full-time. We are listing our house for sale later this month, and I will be moving out of Clarkston by the end of summer. I will submit my resignation from the Board of Education in 30 days, effective August 10th. So as tonight is my final public board meeting as a trustee for Clarkston Community Schools, I practiced this too. That was hard. I'd like to offer a few parting words of gratitude. To our parents and citizens, thank you for allowing me to represent you for the last 9.5 years. It has been one of the great privileges of my life. To our students, meeting you over the years and watching you shine has always brought a huge smile to my face. I hope you always believe you can achieve your dreams, because we do. You are the reason that we sit up here. To our teachers and staff and administrators, you are the best there is, and I admire and appreciate every single one of you. Mrs. McLean, you are the unsung hero of the Board of Education. You are invaluable to all of us, and I could not have been an effective board president without you. Dr. Ryan and my fellow board members, it has been a great honor to serve with you. We always kept the focus on what's best for our students and families, and did it with professionalism and civility. And we also managed to have some fun and share a few laughs along the way. And I will miss each of you. Thank you, Clarkston. You have been a wonderful place and community in which to raise my family. And I will cherish the memories of my 20 years here. Thank you, President Need.
Thank you, Mrs. Horst. Everything that we said a few minutes ago applies in spades to your 7 and 8 years almost of service on the board. And we absolutely wish you and Scott the very best as you go forward with this next chapter of your life, and we thank you for your service. I think we've all been through the process recently, so we have 30 days from the effective date of Mrs. Horst's resignation to make the appointment. What I would ask, since we've gone through this process, is for everyone, I'll reach out to everyone between now and the next board meeting to see whether we want to continue that process or whether you have any suggestions to tweak or change. We can have that discussion at our August 14th board meeting. And then we already have a meeting scheduled on the 28th, and it would be, at least my suggestion, that we plan on filling the vacancy that night. So I'll reach out to you to kind of discuss the process. I saw it from the outside. Obviously, I thought it was a great process. But if there are ways that we can tweak it, then certainly we can talk about that.
How many finalists are we picking?
2 or 3, right?
Mrs. Egan.
Mrs. Egan, yeah.
Okay.
Always room for.
All right, with that, we are going to recess this meeting, not adjourn. We are going to recess for our board retreat at the Deer Lake Inn, which is scheduled for 6 o'clock, but I'm assuming we can start early. So with that, we will see you in a few minutes over there.
Sorry. I really practiced it. I really
Bumbled a couple of times.